Ready.
Set.
Gamecast.
Shut up and sit down.
Hello, and welcome to episode 1 of Ready Set Gamecast, a podcast about video games and the hit movie Space Jam. I'm your host, Bryce, and I'm joined by your star forward for the Toon Squad, Darian.
Yo!
And the Monstar of the show, Teddy Chinaris.
Hello.
So, Darian, what do you think makes Space Jam such a great movie?
I mean, like, Bugs Bunny is pretty chill.
He's pretty chill. He's a pretty chill bunny.
He's Joe Bunny. I don't know.
What about Lola Bunny? I hear she's in that. in that
Lola Bunny is a
feature
slut.
film. Damn! Hot takes here, boys. Hot takes on the fucking however many old
rewatching
movie.
Space Jam as a child, she's a sexualized bunny, and it's very weird.
Yeah?
Like, I'm an adult now, and that bunny is very skinny and has huge tits. What is happening right now?
Just because she's
That is the-
attractive doesn't mean she's sexualized.
She's a bunny. Why is she attractive? Space Jam is the reason our generation is full of furries.
Damn.
Okay.
That's a hot take. It's a good take.
That's my
That's
take on
something.
Space Jam. This is a good movie,
Okay.
don't get me wrong. I like rewatching it. It's very funny, but it's
Not a
my
fan of
problematic
Lola Bunny.
fave.
Jeez.
I will tell you, so they've tried to make other, like, was it Looney Tunes Back in Action or whatever
a
that
great
other
movie.
live action one? I
got
hate
nothing.
that movie.
It's so funny.
But-
It's funny because the guy that's the main, is the main character in that one, pretty much took that role because his career started failing.
That's always a good reason to
That's
take a
where
movie.
you gotta go is to a
So
Looney Tunes movie.
Looney Tunes.
Yeah.
It works.
It's like, why not? I mean, it's all I got going for me these days.
But Space Jam was actually a movie about Michael Jordan, not about the Looney Tunes. Like, there were large portions of the movie that were just like, oh, here's Michael Jordan growing up. Here's Michael Jordan, like, dealing with not being a basketball player anymore.
Here's him being a baseball player.
Yeah. And like, oh, sure, the Looney Tunes, like, showed up, and then he learned to love basketball again. But it's about Michael Jordan.
As somebody who's never seen this movie, this is so funny. And then the Looney Tunes showed up and he learned to love basketball again.
Well, it wasn't
Okay.
just that the Looney Tunes showed up, it's that aliens tried to come to Earth and...
That makes more sense.
Yeah.
I'm down with that now.
I mean, Looney Tunes come down to kidnap you, and you decide to challenge them to a basketball game instead.
Isn't that really the only way to get rid of aliens?
Yeah.
It's
I
a
mean,
foolproof way. Okay.
I'm not sure why Will Smith didn't try it. It really would have worked.
Will Smith didn't need to try it.
He had other ways about getting rid of those aliens.
Yeah. I would love to see Independence Day, but with them playing basketball instead.
Honestly, I would too. That would be great.
Okay. So, we are into the first proper episode of Ready Set Gamecast.
Yay!
So I feel like it is time to introduce ourselves. Darian, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am a gamer chick that enjoys long romantic walks to the refrigerator so that I can get my favorite ice cream sandwich and go back and watch anime on the couch.
Also, you have a dog.
I have a dog and 2 cats, and you will hear a lot of them.
And see them if you're watching the
And-
video.
yeah, and
he's,
see
he's a
them.
good little husky one. Look at him.
He wants a lot of attention.
As
He
he
learned
should. You know, he deserves it.
He's
For
a
being
beautiful
so cute.
dog, so yeah, he needs it.
I bet he learned it from watching you.
Damn.
Actually, he had it before I was around. I just helped make it worse.
So, Teddy, what do you like?
It's a good thing you asked, because I might consider myself your number one source for Percy Jackson the Lightning Thief knowledge. Hit me up on Twitter at Teddy Chinaris if you want to know more about Percy Jackson. Just want to talk about it, you know? No, I like fucking I play a lot of video games, all sorts of games. I always say that I play every genre except for RTSs, which isn't even true anymore because I like RTSs now. Puzzle games and sports games. So I pretty much at this point just don't play puzzle games and sports games. Puzzle games because I'm too dumb, and sports games because I just don't care enough. I used to play Madden when I was younger because I do like football, but like it's too much other stuff to play. So I play all sorts of stuff. I play a lot of first-person shooters. Not good at them, but I play a lot. You know? There's a difference. And then I also like a lot of TV. Big fan of television. Avatar: The Last Airbender specifically. Okay? Also hit me up about that. Best TV show of all time. Fight me.
Hit me up at Teddy Chinaris.
Yeah.
At
Or
me.
twitch.tv/Teddy Chinaris. I mean, you know. I'm always down to talk a little Percy Jackson and Avatar: The Last Airbender. Neither of the movies. Neither
movies?
of the movies.
What movies?
Thank you. Okay? But the source material, hit me up.
There is no movies in Ba Sing Se.
Yes. All right, so what about yourself, Bryce?
Oh, thank you for asking, Teddy. God, I actually forgot to think of mine.
I didn't think of anything. I just said the basic parts of my brand, which is Avatar and Percy Jackson.
I didn't even plan mine. I thought
Yeah.
you were kidding about that part, so...
I wasn't. I never kid. That's the first thing you should know about me. Except I was kidding about that. I kid all the time.
I'm so
more you know.
confused.
The more you know, I guess.
I don't know. I like a lot of things. TV, movie. I love movies. I like indie movies. I created a list called my awesome movies list for like awesome movies that you probably don't know about. Which all have like either made me cry or made me just like think about life differently and stuff like that. I'm occasionally a writer. I used to do video game reviews for a local newspaper. I owned a magazine at one point. That was a bad idea. And I like the movie Space Jam.
As we can tell.
Yes.
I feel bad that I didn't even mention movies, though. Of course I like movies. Movies are fantastic. Shout out to Baby Driver, the best movie of 2020.
That's a good movie.
I haven't seen it yet.
I'm really bad at movies. Like, it is known in my
okay.
friend group that, like, hey, have you seen this movie? If they're asking me, the answer is no.
Same.
I have not seen that movie.
I am a video production major, and which is even worse as to why I haven't seen a lot of these movies. But at least I'm not a film major. It's a little bit more on the technical aspect, but yeah. So there's a ton of like classic movies that I really want to see that I haven't. But I've been trying to watch a lot more movies recently because I do. It's not like I don't like movies. Of course, I love movies, but I honestly I think I prefer TV between TV and movies, like absolutely. So, but yeah.
I like Game of Thrones.
Okay, I started the sidebar real quick on Game of Thrones. I'll make this fast. I always knew that I would like Game of Thrones. I always knew that I would love it. But I put it off for years. Somehow I was able to avoid it. I don't really know how. I heard about it all the time, but I was just like, whatever. And then I always knew that I would love it, but I wanted to wait until it was fully done, and then I could just binge all of it, you know? And I also knew that because I would love it, I would go deep down the rabbit hole. Like, I would start listening to the audiobooks and all this. But I was kind of like, there's only one more season left. I could binge through all of them, and then I can have the experience in the last season of watching along with everybody, and also I get to binge a ton. So that's what I've been doing, and it's fucking great.
Okay, but there's 2 years until the next season, so you made a mistake.
Me? I'm okay. It'll take me a while. I decided to do this a week before Destiny 2 came out. Haven't watched a Game of Thrones episode since. Other than today. I watched one today.
That's a good time to start Game of Thrones.
Yeah, it wasn't that smart, but it was, I'm still loving it, though. Like, it's so good. And I knew it would be. It's great. I'm loving it. That's the end of my Game of Thrones sidebar.
I dropped out of Game of Thrones at end of season 5, I think, and just haven't felt like coming back.
Season 1 is really good, but like in season 2, I had one of my viewers is like really big into Game of Thrones on Twitch, and he was like, his name is Shonen. Shout out to Shonen. He was like, season 1's good, but trust me, when it gets season 2, you'll be like, oh, okay. Season 1 is very much like a setup kind of season. And in the first episode of season 2, I was like, yeah, okay, I see. Season 1 already set up a bunch of awesome moments that happened in the season 2 premiere. So, it's a very good TV show. You know, I'm telling you guys, 7 years late at this point.
In case you didn't know yet,
in case you
Game
weren't
of Thrones
aware, guys,
is really good.
I got you covered. Don't worry about it. Game of Thrones, good show.
Okay, I'm sure you will learn more about us and our interests as you listen to more of Ready Set Gamecast. But time to get into the reason this show exists: video games.
Gross.
What are video games?
Who needs them, dude?
Well, Teddy Chinaris, why don't you tell us what you have been playing?
Too many. I'll start before we get to the obvious thing of what I've been playing. But last week, because we do this every 2 weeks, so last week, before Destiny 2 came out, I played the Call of Duty World War II beta for a bit, and I played the Destiny 2 PC beta when that came out, which I believe at this point was literally last Monday through Wednesday, or Sunday through Wednesday, something like that. And then a lot of last week, I was playing a little game called Everybody's Golf. Shout out to Everybody's Golf. It's so good. That game is awesome. But the only problem with it is that I really liked Mario Golf on the 3DS, and Mario Golf on the 3DS is awesome, but like, Everybody's Golf is way better. But because I'm so used to playing like a golf game on a handheld, it was a bummer. Like, I really would have preferred to have Everybody's Golf on the Vita or something, but no, it's stuck on the console, which is fine. That's like the only knock against it, though, because it's awesome. It's golf for everybody. What else do you need? What else do you need in life? But then on Tuesday, a little game came out that I've been waiting like 3 years for at this point, called Destiny 2. I wore my Destiny 1 Age of Triumph shirt specifically for this. Bryce, it's here. Can you believe we made it? We made it! 2 years of no content. Not really, dry content. But we made it, and now there's so much to do. It's insane. It came out Tuesday night pretty much, and I have at least 30 hours, and that's not even much. I should have more. I feel bad whenever I went to class, I was like, I should be at home grinding right now. I should be at home getting my power level up for that raid releasing on Wednesday. We'll probably talk about Destiny 2 a little bit more later.
Just like preteens, Teddy just loves to grind.
You know it.
I don't think they stop there usually.
Yeah, that's a good point.
What
that's
are you?
Usually just when it starts, I would assume. You know?
I mean, after a certain point,
In the
hope they would
beginning,
get past
in the
for the
beginning
grind.
there is
Yeah,
grinding,
that's a good
and
point.
then after a while it's just not necessary anymore
Yeah.
because we know what you're here for.
Jeez.
Once you pop, you just don't stop.
All right. Anyways, Destiny 2, ladies and gentlemen. It's a good video game. I'm very happy with it. Are we going to talk about it a little bit more later, Bryce?
No, I think we just get into it now.
Okay, okay. Let's go, boys. All right.
Sit back.
All right. Oh my gosh. Okay, so
Darian's
before
getting
we
relaxed.
started-
She's
Yeah,
like,
just-
I'm done.
just sit back,
I'm out for a
chill.
while.
So
I'll listen.
before we started today, I was like, what are the 3 main points that I really want to hit on when it comes to Destiny 2? And I thought of 3, never wrote them down, so, maybe these are the 3 that I thought of. The 3 mainly is the story. They fixed the story. It's actually a cohesive narrative. It's actually, something's going on. You understand what's happening. It's not like in Destiny 1. We made this comparison the other day where it's not like Destiny 1 where the moon unlocks and you can go to the moon. It's like in Destiny 2, Nessus unlocks and you go to Nessus because you know why you're going there. You have a story reason as to why you go to Nessus. It doesn't just open on the map. You are driving towards a specific goal and it ends awesomely. The last 3 missions, I won't do any sort of spoilers, of course, but the last 3 missions are really Halo-like. They reminded me of different moments in Halo. Even the second mission reminded me a little bit of ODST. I think they really, really nailed the story for what they needed. And the second thing is the loot progression. So far, right now, which is like a couple days after launch and all that, the loot progression is really, really solid. Like, it's not... Pretty much everything you do can get you to 265. After 265 really starts the grind for exotics to get you past that point, which, again, you pretty much can do anything. As always, there's min-maxing. Like, most people are thinking public events are the fastest way to grind exotic engrams and stuff like that. But you can do whatever. Like, almost everything you do has a chance at getting you an exotic engram. You can play Crucible, you can get an exotic engram drop. If you could run around, do patrols, adventures, public events on a planet, you get tokens. You can turn those tokens into faction stuff. You also get a chance at exotics at the end of public events and adventures and stuff like that. So there's just, everything is rewarding. And so far, it didn't take me long at all to get from 200 to 265. Like, the grind was really fun because I was just doing the new milestone system is awesome. Like, everything is incredibly rewarding and streamlined. It's what Destiny 1 should have been at launch, and it's incredible, and I'm happy we're here. And my third main reason why it's great is the fact that I'm just playing with my friends again. Like, I have a lot of Destiny friends that we used to play all the time when there was new content, and there hasn't been in months and months and way too long. So now there's so much Destiny content, and we're all like, the last couple of nights we've been in like 6-7 man parties where we're all just screaming over each other while we're all playing different parts in the Destiny 2 area, like, because there's only 3-man fire teams for some stuff and 4-man for PvP, and the raid's launching next week, but that's 6-man. So we were in different groups and all that, but it was still just, it's so much fun to actually be able to play with these people that I haven't played in forever with. So Bryce, how have you been enjoying it? Oh, let me finish with saying my progress so far. I have a level 20 Titan, max 273 power, and a level 12 Warlock, and a level 9 Hunter right now, at the moment. So how are you liking it at the moment, Bryce?
Okay, so to give you some background, obviously Teddy has played all of Destiny 1, every piece of content, millions and millions of times over.
I looked it up yesterday. I have 1,200 plus hours in D1.
Whereas I played, me and my brother played the Destiny 1 launch story, Vanilla Destiny. I think raids had come out right when we start bouncing off because we didn't have a raid group, so we couldn't do it. But we played through the vanilla story, and then we stopped playing because, like, we grinded for a while, but it was like, why? What's the point?
Because the raids are fantastic.
Well, we didn't have a raid group, so we just...
That's true.
It's
totally understandable.
Yeah. Me and my brother tried to get the door open with just the two of us, and we couldn't, so...
No, that's not possible. Well, it is possible, but you gotta be crazy.
Yeah, you gotta cheese it or something.
Yeah. There were people that soloed it, so.
Yeah, so I was looking forward to Destiny 2 because I knew a lot of people that I have since become friends with who were gonna get in. I knew I would have a crew for raids, for the strikes, for everything. It wouldn't. And one, they have actual matchmaking now, so even if you don't have people...
Guided games should help. We haven't actually seen guided games in action yet. They're starting the beta for that, I believe, on Tuesday with the next Nightfall. If that's wrong, whatever. But it's pretty soon. They're starting it for the Nightfall. And I hope it needs to pretty much be an in-game LFG where you can write down descriptions, stuff like that, as in, like, need one, please have a microphone, don't be a dick, stuff like that, because that's pretty important. And if it doesn't have those kind of features, it'll be quite disappointing, but I think it will, because when they showed it off at the Destiny reveal event, it showed up as, like, people were listing their stuff like an LFG site. So if it's like that, we'll be golden.
I'm looking on the Destiny app right now, and it looks like they have something like that where they've got select activity up for anything where you can up to 6 players, Nightfall up to 3, Strikes up to 3, Crucible up to 4 players, and then Destiny 1. So it looks like you can post like, hey, I'm want somebody to do the strike with. And so it lists the people who are already down, and then you can fill in your slot if you want to participate.
Where are you seeing this?
This is on the app, the phone app.
They're showing off. That's not guided games.
Well,
that's a completely different feature. LFG
this is,
on the Bungie.net is specifically like an LFG forum.
Okay, yeah, this is Find Fire Team. So this is
that's Bungie.net has had pretty much their own built-in LFG for like a couple years now.
Yeah,
like a year.
I mean, yeah. So obviously they've seen the problems that people have had through Destiny 1 and have addressed those. So coming into Destiny 2, a lot of things that people didn't like are fixed from the get-go.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Teddy can speak more to it of how they've streamlined stuff so you don't have to grind for materials to upgrade your weapons constantly.
Well, yeah, that's nice. You didn't really have to do that ever since like year 1 in Destiny. Like they fixed that in year 2 pretty much. But yeah, there's no planetary materials, or there are, but you can turn those in for pretty much like you would turn in stuff to get tokens so you can get faction packages at the vendor. The best way that they've pretty much streamlined everything is that in Destiny 1, you had to go to orbit and then go back down wherever you wanted to go or whatever you wanted to do. But in this, you can go straight from destination to destination. So you can pull up your director on the planet instead of having to go to orbit, sit through the loading screen, having to go down somewhere, sit through the loading screen again. This time, you can just go straight from the European Dead Zone to Nessus or to Crucible or anything like that. So
yeah,
it's a lot of really nice improvements. Same with the milestone system. That is way better than the quest system that we used to have.
I mean, milestones are basically quests.
Yeah, but you don't have to manage it pretty much in your inventory and like go through and like it's easier to see. You just open your director and boom, there it is.
Yeah.
That's nice.
So you mentioned the story a little bit, and I'll say Destiny 1, vanilla Destiny 1, I could not tell you what I was doing in the campaign at all.
I couldn't either. I'm
Like-
over 1,200 hours of that game. I don't know what I did. I beat the darkness. I know what I did in the raids because those were actually memorable. But the vanilla story was pretty much not there.
Yeah,
Sadly.
and Teddy, I'm sure, is going to want to talk about this. When you first start Destiny 2, it shows a little screen of like memories of stuff you've done in Destiny 1.
That was awesome.
Here, go in.
It pretty much, when you start, it's not much of a spoiler because it happens the second you start the game. If you play Destiny 1 and a lot of the stuff, it'll open up and it'll have pretty much like these like drawn out images of like, the first one is the Black Garden, which is finishing the vanilla story in Destiny 1. And if you beat it with a fire team, it'll show who you beat it with and it'll show you the date that it was completed. And for me, it pretty much went through all of them. And it's awesome because there were a lot of people that you kind of lose along the way. Like, there's a lot of people in, like, the original raid group that I used to play with and the original story stuff that I don't play with anymore just because they stopped playing or they got busy with life and stuff like that. So it was kind of neat to see the progression from, like, the people I used to play with in year 1 to, like, the final fire team, which is now carrying into... It was so cool to see the final one, which was, I believe, the one for beating the story in Rise of Iron was really cool because that was like the last time you would beat a story thing. And it was me, my friend Eric, and my friend Andrew. And I was in a party with my friend Eric and my friend Andrew, like getting ready to do all of it over again. Like we're getting ready to start a new adventure, like as we did throughout 3 years. So it was really, really, really cool. I like the memories thing. And if you want, on the character select, you can replay it. Right below your characters, you can click it and you can rewatch through those memories.
Okay, I was wondering if there was a way to look at that again.
Yeah.
Because
Yes,
I bounced off early on, I only had one memory, and that was doing the garden with my brother. And and seeing that, I was like, what was the like? I remember, I can see in my mind the like tower structure. It kind of had some Vex towers, and you go through. And I was like, why? What was the story reason for any of this?
You said it last night, last night.
Yeah.
You're like, Teddy, what was up with the Black Garden? What did we even really do there? I'm like, I don't know. We shot a black heart thing that killed the darkness, but not really. And the stranger gave us a rifle, and then we did raids.
Yeah.
So.
And I think, in terms of story for Destiny 2, one, they do not mention darkness at all at any
Which
point.
is good.
Because they had no idea what the darkness was. They were just like, we have the light, so obviously the enemy is called the darkness.
Luke Smith said in an interview pretty much that they were trying to not use that term because when they were in Destiny 1, they were pretty much using it as a vague term for like enemies, and they weren't necessarily sharing the lore. I'm not sure of the exact quote of the interview, but it was something along those lines. So thankfully, a lot of the Destiny 1 story beats just weren't there, which I was like, good idea.
Yeah.
Just get away from that as far as you can.
And all the
Run.
enemies being on the darkness team didn't really make sense because they fought against each other.
Yep.
So it's like, no, these are obviously different factions. But the reason Destiny 2 isn't gonna win awards for its story. There's obviously much better stories, but compared to Destiny 1, I can tell you exactly what the story is about.
Yeah.
Like there's a very clear enemy, there's a very clear goal, and you're following the entire time. You're following steps of like, okay, this happened, I need to go do this, and then okay, that person has given me the next thing I need to do, and the entire when it's all over, you're like, oh, okay, I had to do all of this to meet my end goal that I knew from the very beginning.
And there really were some cool little twists and turns. Not too many, but there were a couple little like plot twists that, like a couple of things, especially with the Cabal and Gaul himself, that I was like, oh, okay, that's a cool route to go and stuff like that. And honestly, the last couple of missions that I said were really Halo-like, I think it was a really solid first-person shooter campaign, like a really solid 8 to 10 hour. Like if you bought the game just to go through the story, which necessarily wouldn't advise because do other stuff in the game because there's a ton of other stuff after the story. But if you did, I don't think you would be that disappointed at all. I think you would have had a solid time, and you could move on if you wanted to. Don't, but you could.
But yeah, so the story was solid. Like, there were parts. I mean, anything with Cade Six, voiced by Nathan Fillion, I loved. He's a strong. He seems to like his character. Nathan Fillion does, because he seems to nail all of his lines.
Yeah. So I don't think we probably shouldn't talk about it for too much longer. I'll end with this. I want to say that I'm very excited for the raid. I'm incredibly excited. Raids in Destiny are why I like Destiny. Like, raids are the reason I play. They're some of the best like gaming experiences I've ever had, because they're 6-man. If you don't know what a raid is in Destiny, or if you played a raid in an MMO or something, pretty much in Destiny, you descend into this area. It's a 6-man fire team. Normally in PvE you have 3. And they're pretty much like these big puzzles to solve that the community solves pretty much together. So it's like, a lot of times it's like you have to split into groups of 2 or groups of 3, go over do this other thing, like, and it all meshes really well together. And by the end of it, like, you have to work as a team and communicate. There's one raid specifically, Wrath of the Machine. If you're not communicating, you are dead. Like, you cannot do it without voice. That's why a lot of times when people are like, oh, just throw in matchmaking. No, there needs to be an LFG system, because otherwise you're going to have a bad time. But they're really, really hard and really difficult challenges. And when you finally finish it and pull together as a team, you feel like so accomplished. So I'm really excited for the raid on Wednesday. And I want to end by saying, Darian, need to get this game. I don't care if you get it on console or on PC. Just get it, okay? And you'll have fun. That's all I'll say. You'll have fun, at least for a little while. It'll be good.
You should. I saw their Redbox, so you should just go Redbox, rent it for a couple days, and see if you like it.
Maybe.
Well, I was just gonna wait till it was available on PC and then see if.
There you go.
Okay. I mean, there's additional content on PS4, but obviously
it's not going to be that much. I will say, though, the PS4 exclusive sniper rifle, normally the exclusive content isn't that great or significant, but the PS4 exclusive sniper rifle, especially with the Nightfall that's going on, is really, really good. It's really good. The Nightfall, pretty much, one of the modifiers, it changes the elemental burn about every 60 seconds. And the exotic sniper rifle called the Borealis, you can hold square on it, and it changes the burn. So you can have a void sniper, and then say the burn switches to solar. You can hold square until it switches to solar, and you can keep going. Like, it's really solid for the Nightfall, so just throwing that out there. But PC got that 60 frames, so that max FOV. I'm all about it, too. I got that pre-ordered as well.
You can tell Teddy's been in the Destiny hole for a while when he's using terms like burn.
And
That's a pretty standard Destiny term, but yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, I feel it.
I've never heard of many of these terms until hearing you guys talk about the...
I will educate you, son.
I'm just like, I shoot the guys and then they die.
That's
It's
usually
been working for
the
me.
gist of it. You know, sometimes it's a little more complicated, but usually, you shoot them and they die.
I imagine with the raids and the Nightfall is timed from what I hear, so I hear it's actually really hard that you have to have your stuff
the
together.
Nightfall, I'm not going to get super into the weeds because it's not a Destiny podcast. I already have gotten into the weeds, but I won't get super into the Nightfall mechanics. But I will just say, Nightfall, way better than the end of Destiny 1. The beginning of Destiny 1 had, like, the way Nightfalls worked were awesome. Then they made a big, significant change to how they worked. And then for, like, 2 years, they were kind of just like, why do this? But so far, the Nightfall changes are really, really cool. They've added a lot of new modifiers. The way the timer system works is really fun. So, I'm looking forward to all this. Bryce probably isn't going to do his first raid with my clan because he's a traitor and in a different clan. But I hope to do a raid with Bryce because I want to see how he feels about it and all that. So,
Is your clan level 2 yet?
hey, man, y'all got more people, okay?
Well,
Y'all got more people.
we
We're
got the
so
better clan.
dedicated. We're creating new characters to up our clan XP. You know what I mean? All of us are on our third characters right now because we're trying to get our clan to level 2.
I actually...
It's called dedication.
I was working on my Titan because I was like, oh, I want to get more clan XP so we can hit level 2. And then right when I got my clan banner, I was like, oh, I can't get more clan XP because we already maxed out for the week. So I was like, okay.
It's like, well,
I guess
I'm working on my Titan now anyways.
yeah. I went back to Hunter because I'm like, right now I'm sitting at like 240 light level, power level.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's called in Destiny.
It's technically the power level now, but it's like it was light level for 3 years. So if you say light level, most people are going to know what you mean.
Yeah. Okay, I'm sure we will be talking more Destiny 2 in the weeks to come, but...
In a couple of months, I expect Darian to weigh in on this conversation. That would be great, you know? I don't expect it, but I'm just,
it
throwing that out there.
comes end of October, right?
I think October 24th.
Yeah.
If I got that right, I'm going to be so impressed with myself.
Do you have anything else to talk about, Teddy?
On stuff I've been playing, definitely not.
Okay.
I forgot we're still in that section at this point.
This has been renamed the
segment.
Destiny 2 section. Darian, what have you been playing?
Mostly Stardew and League of Legends and
Hold on.
Stardew Valley.
In terms of League of Legends, we had a question sent in. If you would like to send in a question, go to lastgeek.com/RSG. Garrett has sent in asking, if y'all are into League, do you feel like the tank meta is still alive and still kind of annoying to deal with?
Okay, well, the definition of meta basically means, like, it's most powerful, right? Like, it's the most effective. And it is effective, but it's not the most effective anymore. So tank meta isn't real. Or isn't the meta anymore, I guess.
It's more like tank strategy.
Yeah, it's tank strategy for sure. And depending on which tanks you bring, yes, it's still very annoying. Like, for example, Cho'Gath is is a picker ban because his ultimate scales forever now. And so, like, if your team picks him and he gets enough stacks, he's basically impossible to deal with. So, in that way, yes, like, tanks are definitely, like, frustrating and hard to deal with, but I don't think they're the meta anymore.
I used to play League of Legends. We went over this in episode 0, but I played League of Legends for, like, 300 hours or something like that, like 3-4 years ago. So every now and then when we mention League, I'm just gonna throw in a fucking stupid comment. So how's my girl Caitlyn doing? Is she still alright?
She
I
was
used to play Caitlyn all the time.
So she was also a picker ban champion for like 3 patches, but they just nerfed her into the ground, and her win rate against literally any AD carry is less than 50%. Like, she is hurting.
So
they
how
nerfed
about
her and how her passive interacts with a really strong item.
It's upsetting.
They kind of fucked her
for
over.
a long time, and then I played Caitlyn for a long time. I played Jinx and other ADCs, but that's
ADC's
sad.
my main too, so like I could tell you what's meta in ADC because it affects me directly.
Well, that's sad. F's in the proverbial chat in the hypothetical chat or in the chats. F's pretty much everywhere for Caitlyn. We'll never forget you. I'll never forget you, Caitlyn.
To be clear, on Twitch, people say, what's the phrase? F's
to pay your respect.
Yeah, so...
It's a meme. If you're not aware of the meme,
one of those memes. I actually didn't know that meme.
Really? That's a classic meme. I gotta stop saying that. It came out in it was like a big thing because in Call of Duty Advanced Warfare is in the campaign on PC. There's like a moment where you have to pay respects, and it was just press F to pay respects, and you put your hand on a.
So you could opt out of doing that if you wanted.
Yeah.
Okay, so I didn't know the origin of that. I just saw it in Twitch chats and was like,
that's what it's from. Because it was just dumb. It was just like press F to pay your respects, and the guy would be like, that was it. He would just like reach out his hand, touch the coffin, and that was it. It's like, okay. But yeah. What have you been playing, Bryce? Unless Darian's been playing anything
I think
else.
Darian still got more.
Well, the only thing I got is Stories Untold, other than League.
I have also been playing Stories Untold, which is a video game published by Devolver Digital. It is a text-based. It's text-based, and it's also not. I mean, there's definitely primarily a text-based element to it,
It's
but
text-based and point and click.
yeah, and so you're not just seeing text. There is like it's 4 stories that kind of make up a whole story, and in each story, there's a computer screen somewhere, and you are interacting with this computer in some way through your keyboard. The first one is basically like a text-based adventure, and you're seeing a computer on the left side, and it's like on screen it shows a computer desk, and on the left is a computer screen, so you're seeing a computer on your computer, and then there's like a table with some pictures and a keyboard there, and so you play the game, and it starts you in front of a house, and then you go inside the house, and so this is going to have some very minor spoilers. We're only going to cover the story 1, but so you go through the house twice, actually. The first time, you go up to your room, and you find the computer, and you hook it up, and there's a cassette for the House Abandoned, which is the story the story 1. So you go to play the game you're already playing on your virtual computer, and suddenly the light on your table burns out, and the entire feel of the game completely changes, and now you're playing a horror game. And it is super meta, and in this sense, meta means self-referential, because the second time you go through the house, the house is completely abandoned and just destroyed, and you have done something horrible. But when you go through the house, you have to go back to the power generator, turn on the power generator. When you do that in the text-based game, the lights turn back on in your virtual house. So you're like, okay, what I'm doing in the game is affecting what I'm doing on the upper level of the game. And then, I mean, so you go back, you end up having to go back to your bedroom where you are from the first time through. And I will say I was dreading going in that room because I could hear myself going up the steps, and I was so scared of what I was going to do to myself. And
or like what you were gonna find.
Yeah, well, what I was gonna find, what I was gonna do, it was very creepy. I will say story one's probably the strongest. I don't know if you agree, Darian. Of the four
other
stories.
Other than like the last one wrapping it all together.
Yeah. The last, so the first three stories seem like they're completely different, but then story 4 gives context to wrap them all together.
But yeah, definitely, like, if they were all individual games, definitely the first one.
Yeah.
Very good. Like, I could have played the first story and been satisfied with having that game. Like, it was exactly what I was looking for as far as what I was expecting from the game. Like, this has me on the edge of my seat. I don't know what to expect. I don't know what's, like, I know what's going on, sort of, and just enough of an air of mystery that was like keeping me intrigued. Like, let's go. Like, what's going on? What's gonna happen next?
Yeah. You had not actually played a text-based adventure before this, had you?
I don't think so. No. I'm trying to think because I'm pretty sure wasn't like the Oregon Trail technically a text-based game? Or?
No, something like Zork would be. Have you ever heard of Zork?
My only experience with a text-based game is playing a little bit of Zork on the Black Ops 1 console. When you could break out of your chair and go over to the computer and you could play Zork on it.
I did play Zork in Black Ops, actually.
That's all I got.
That's me too. Very minimal.
Yeah. I was like, oh, I escaped the basement. Oh, I ran up a tree and I'm dead. Okay. Something like that. It was very fast.
Yeah, so it's about a $10 game. I had already bought it because it seemed pretty interesting. I think I got it on sale, and then I got a second copy from Humble Monthly, so I sent that over to Darian to try out. And the story 1 is amazing, and then the way they contextualize everything in the final story just was a very good overall experience. So if you want something kind of weird and interesting, I definitely recommend on Stories Untold. So I've also obviously been playing Destiny 2, and like half an hour ago I downloaded Sonic Mania.
My boy Adam Wells will be very proud of you.
Yeah, he's definitely super into that game. Somebody, frick, I can't remember her name at the moment, and I'm gonna kick myself, but somebody from the Giant Beastcast, it's either Giant Bomb or Giant Beastcast, she started playing it, and she was saying how she had no idea what to do. And when I was playing it, I realized that, yeah, that's true, that if you have not played this, Sonic Mania is a game for Sonic fans. If you have not played any Sonic game before, you probably have no idea what to do. There are no instructions. They don't tell you press down and B to do the ball thing. They don't tell you like with Sonic. There's a lot of like, where am I going? Even if you have played Sonic before, because I was in Act 2 of the chemical plant. I was just like, okay, I can go in this hole, I guess. I don't know if this is the right hole. I was just going to random places. Eventually, I found the end. But
did you say you got this half an hour ago?
Yeah.
So you played like enough to be confused?
Yes. I mean, there's. Obviously, you'll get the hang of it as you go, but like, your hardest time with a game, if you don't know what you're doing, is right away. The more you play, the more you learn. But they don't give you any control stuff. And another thing that I had serious trouble with is at the end of each act or stage or whatever, you do a boss battle, and most of them are pretty simple. You just whack the guy, and if he's got spikes sticking out, don't hit him when he's got spikes. But at one section, you do Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine, I believe. Is like, I've never played this. I've only heard about Mean Bean Machine from the podcast Cool Games Inc., starring Griffin McElroy and formerly Nick Robinson. Well, I mean, I think the podcast is over either way. But I've only heard of it, so when I saw it, I was like, oh, this must be Mean Bean Machine. I had no idea how the game worked.
God.
I could figure out, like, oh, this is sort of Tetris, but I didn't know how many little things I had to combine or how the game worked.
Mean Bean Machine was like my favorite game growing up. Like, out of all of the Sonic games, like, I love Sonic. That was the game that I spent hundreds of hours trying to beat because it's hard.
So, yeah, I failed the first time around because like, I don't know what I'm doing, and they don't tell you. So, it's
Good luck.
Yeah, it seems like this is a game for Sonic fans, not for people who want to try Sonic for the first time. So I'm somewhere in the middle. I am familiar. I have played a little bit of Sonic on the Genesis, and I've not really touched it since. I played the original Sonic. I think that was it. So I know press down and B to do the ball, and that's about. I don't know. I did not know Mean Bean Machine, if that gives you an idea. So I'll play more. I'll probably have more to say next time, but right now, it's definitely interesting. But I will say the intro video is freaking amazing. I could watch that over and over and over.
As someone who did not buy Sonic Mania, I have added that intro song to my Spotify playlist because it's a great song.
It is a great song.
It's pretty great.
Okay, well, this brings us to the news.
I was about to do the old do-do-do-do-do, and then I was like, nope, wrong show. Not how that goes.
And also, I think they still use that.
Yeah, copyright. Sorry, kind of funny.
You can't make those noises.
Shit.
Sorry. Can't make the beep noises. Okay.
Okay, first piece of news. Sony has dropped the PlayStation VR. It
Drop the price.
Yeah. Dropped it.
They
Fuck it.
dropped the
We're done
PlayStation
with this
VR
shit.
on the ground. They
We're
picked it up.
done with VR. So Sony's like, we can't compete anymore. Goodbye.
done.
Like, we're done.
Even though we've
That's
sold
not
a
what
lot.
happened. They
dropped
dropped
the
the price.
So that's pretty neat news, especially considering that Rift and Vive also got price drops recently, right?
Yes.
So where does it put PSVR along with them?
It's PlayStation VR. I think the entire time was sitting at the cheapest, so this is just bringing them further in line.
PlayStation VR.
Yeah. So PlayStation VR remains the cheapest, but overall, this is making VR more affordable for everyone,
That's pretty cool.
which I think is a good idea for both people who are making VR games and people who want to play VR games. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to play that Resident Evil 7 game.
Nope, I'm gonna pass on that one. I'd rather not crap myself.
I want to play it in VR, which is why I won't get it, because I can't play VR. Like, I want the full experience or nothing. Like,
I tried PSVR for the first time recently when I went up to visit some friends in Indiana. One of my friends brought over their PSVR, and we did the Super Stardust VR, which, as someone who likes the Super Stardust games, I was like, this is pretty neat. I didn't do the regular version in VR. I did their like VR only mode, which is kind of like you're on a buggy on a planet, and it's just like Stardust where you're shooting things and like racking up points and whatnot. The moment where I was like, oh shit, this is cool, is where I was looking around, shooting things regularly, all of that. It was cool to be able to look and aim and move different, like, it added another dimension. But then when I turned this way, the radar said something was in front of me, and I was like, there was nothing there. And then I realized, oh wait, and I looked up, and there was a ship flying at me. I was like, okay, that's pretty awesome. Like, adding in all the different dimensions is really cool.
all of the directions.
All of the dimensions, dude.
I mean, it already added the dimensions, but it added direction.
Oh, okay. All right.
Up
Yeah.
is the direction.
The new technology of the up direction.
Yes. No one has ever looked up
Next
before.
gen.
This is where we would answer or put in a sponsored message.
This is a sponsored message.
This podcast is brought to you by Blue Apron.
Oh, goals.
I wish.
If Blue Apron will start sending me free stuff to advertise for them, I would do it in a heartbeat. Like, if that's all the payment I received, I would.
Yeah, just free stuff.
I don't think
like Blue Apron, like if I subscribe, it's really expensive.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't seem like it at first, but like the longer you have it, then it just gets to be a little bit out of hand. But like if that was the agreement, like I'm not gonna give you any monetary stuff, but I'll give you a subscription to our stuff. Like deal, like I'll do it.
Yeah.
Like you got me.
Okay. Next news item. The Japanese Splatfest is McDonald's fries versus McDonald's chicken nuggets. And I just want to add this in to see which side you guys would fight for.
Fries. Okay, because, you didn't realize I had a long backstory with this, but I do. All right, here we go.
Oh, down the rabbit hole.
So here we go. When I was younger and I lived in Virginia, I went to a mission school, but I was like a day student, but it was like the school nearby. So I went there, and at one point, a McDonald's truck was driving full of chicken nuggets. Like a giant thing full of chicken nuggets. The truck crashed, right? But none of the chicken nuggets were actually damaged, but because the truck crashed, they couldn't like sell them. It's like against policy or something. So they pretty much donated all of the chicken nuggets to the mission school. So we were eating chicken nuggets at that school for like 3 years. Almost every day. So I grew to really hate McDonald's chicken nuggets. So fries all the way.
How about you, Darian?
Oh, I don't have a tragic backstory with chicken nuggets, so the chicken nuggets are honestly, if I could only pick one thing off their menu, I'd pick the chicken nuggets because I've had fries from there that are gross, but the chicken nuggets are almost always good for me.
But like Big Macs.
I mean, yeah, they're good. I've had a bad Big Mac too. Like I've had one of those like those memes where like the Big Mac is like horribly arranged or like parts are missing. I've had one of those, and it's very depressing
really
when you're anticipating like this full amazing burger and you are missing portions of it.
That's really sad.
What about you, Bryce?
McDonald's fries versus McDonald's chicken nuggets. I gotta go with chicken nuggets every time. Like I've had good
We're all on
fries.
the wrong side of history.
I've had good fries elsewhere, but I've not really had good fries at McDonald's. And I like meat, and potatoes are not meat.
True.
I'm a big fan of potatoes as well, so there is that.
I mean,
Like
I
potato
like
chips, fries, hash browns, all about it.
It's true.
Not necessarily mashed potatoes or baked potatoes. Baked potatoes, too much work. Mashed potatoes, they're good.
Also
Like-
too much work. Or gross, like boxed mashed potatoes that are just potato flakes.
Yeah,
It's not the same.
I can agree with that.
The real question is, which would Mario pick?
Definitely
Which
chicken
brings-
nuggets.
That horrible segue was brought to you by the fact that Mario is no longer a plumber.
Okay, here's the official quote. Mario, this was added, it was updated, his Mario profile was updated on marioportal.com or something? It's a Japanese website, and under Mario, they updated, say, all around sporty, whether it's tennis or baseball, soccer or car racing, he, in parentheses, Mario, does everything cool. As a matter of fact, he also seems to have worked as a plumber a long time ago. So we've been bamboozled.
So he
years.
was. No,
Hold
so
on.
okay, it's the Nintendo site in Japan with all the character profiles. That's where it was
Yeah.
changed. Also,
Yeah.
Toad's name is Canopio, and
What?
It's Canopio?
What?
Good,
Is
you're
that just
right.
the like Japanese
Dude,
translation?
Go to
Bowser
Kotaku,
just
click
says
on the
Koopa.
Mario profile link, and it brings you to the website that it's from. And if you scroll down, it has Mario, Luigi, Peach, and Canopio.
And Bowser is Koopa.
And
just
Koopa,
straight up
yeah.
just Koopa.
That's a thing that I knew, though, because Koopa kids, Koopalings.
Rosita is Rosetta. Isn't she Rosita?
Rosalina.
Okay, yeah.
It's
yeah.
Rosetta. Teresa.
And then Koopa. Teresa's the fucking ghost.
What?
How does
Teresa's
that-
a Boo?
That's what the ghost.
Ouch.
Yeah, that's what Boo is.
A Boo is Teresa?
How does that make any sense?
And
Is
then
that a
Donkey Kong and Diddy
specific-
Kong.
I don't... So are they all girls?
Japanese. Man.
Yes.
All
Probably.
Boos are girls. You're hearing it here first.
Confirmed.
For hot news, like that. This is like the least interesting thing about this is that like Mario's no longer a plumber. Who cares? Boobs are called Teresa.
Boos are Teresa.
Canopio is what Toad is. Oh gosh.
Wow.
Let's get away.
I also
let's
don't
get
know
away
what
from
626 up means, but that's on the last 5 on this page.
this. I don't know.
Okay, but Canopio.
I'm not Japanese.
Anyway, that's Pinocchio, but with. I'm sorry, that bothers me a little bit, but I love it.
It bothers me as well. It should bother everybody.
But
Pinocchio.
I find it interesting that they
Anyway.
say he does everything cool, and then he says that he was a plumber. So plumbers are cool, guys.
Plumbers are cool, dude.
I mean, let's be
Apparently.
real here. Like, if plumbers didn't exist, there'd be a lot of people with a
That's
lot
very
of shit
true.
in their house. So, literally speaking.
Do you ever think about like what if every garbage man in the world just went on strike for like a week? Or not well, a week, because
Maybe,
sometimes
like-
they come once a week. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So I feel like for like, let's say like 2 months. Like 2 months.
I live
every
in an
garbage man
apartment
in the world.
complex that has multiple days where they take out the dumpsters, and if they were gone for a week, we would notice because we have a pet
How about
complex.
2 months then?
Oh god.
Garbage men, shout out to you guys. You know what I mean?
I would have to euthanize my dog because there's no way I'd be able to clean up after him anymore. Like,
That's very sad.
like, thered be too much shit in that dumpster.
It's too dark, anyways, right? So
It's too
South
dark.
Park.
Oh,
I want
we're
to talk
up.
about this. This is really cool. South Park.
It's too
and
dark.
it's not
so
cool,
South
but it's
Park.
very South Park. South Park: The Fractured Butthole. Their difficulty slider changes your skin color.
Okay, but isn't the
That-
clearness that it doesn't affect like combat?
It doesn't affect combat. There's pretty much a line. I don't know if it's in this article or not. There's a line that yeah, it is. Cartman says, "Don't worry, this doesn't affect combat. Just every other aspect of your whole life."
Okay, how does it
Damn.
affect skin color, Teddy? Tell us that.
Oh, it makes you. The skin color is darker the harder it is.
Yeah, so easy is when you're super white.
So,
Yeah.
so Darian's the
I-
like easy level.
Yeah, If
I'm not
anyone-
a straight white male, so no.
Okay.
We're not going to
If
talk
any-
about that.
If anyone was to do this is a very South Park thing to do.
Definitely.
I'm like, good on you, South Park, for making that commentary. Good on you guys, freaking. I thought that was very interesting this week. what a
I dig it.
very
Yeah.
interesting piece of news.
It's
that,
one
that
of
definitely
those.
dropped and it was like.
I'm so ready
okay.
for that game though. The Fractured Butthole is gonna be awesome. The first game's really good. I'm excited.
That's one of the only video games that my boss plays, and so when he wants to talk video games, like he'll talk about the South Park game, like he'll talk about Stick of Truth, and like he's
That's
so
really
bad
funny.
at video games that like he's like, yeah, I played the whole time and I didn't know that they were, I think it's like patches or something, and he's like, I didn't know that they affected your stats or anything. I didn't play Stick of Truth, so I don't remember what it was, but there's an aspect that's in every RPG, but it's under different things depending on what RPG you're playing.
Did
Yeah.
he like
He had
never level
no
up?
idea what they did. I don't know. He played the whole game. He said
That's
it got
rough.
really hard at the end, and I was like, probably because you weren't using the things that are supposed to help you. Like,
Jeez.
I thought it was pretty funny.
Yeah, jeez, man.
Yeah, I honestly am not a big fan of South Park, the show, but I played through Stick of Truth. It was fun.
I love the show.
I'll probably play the new South Park game. I'm not in a hurry to play it, but it seems like it'll be a good time.
At one point during one summer, I binged through 18 seasons of that show.
That's beautiful.
It was pretty great.
I like
It's
that I
really,
haven't
really
seen
good.
every episode
I
of
like
South
Park a lot.
I
will
haven't
say-
seen every episode of South Park, and I'm really glad that I haven't, because I can still watch episodes that I haven't seen and be just absolutely shocked.
I'm kind of jealous. There's a whole storyline where they spoilers, I guess, for like 8 years ago, South Park. There's a whole storyline where they actually kill Kenny. There's like a whole season where they actually killed Kenny, because the joke is like, you killed Kenny, or they killed Kenny, you bastard. And it's like, and there's a whole season where Kenny's dead.
I remember that
like,
season.
and then I think it's like the final episode. He just comes back. He walks up, and they're like, "Oh, hi, Kenny. What's up? Let's go." And then the episode ends.
I thought he stayed dead after the movie.
I actually haven't seen the South Park movie. I've
Oh
seen
my God,
every episode. I haven't seen the movie.
South Park movie
is a
is
problem.
so good.
You
Like
mean,
I cried.
wait, so the
I
bigger,
cried.
longer, uncut?
That's the only South Park movie.
I wanted to make sure that how have you not seen that?
Because I just
It's
watched
on
all
Netflix.
I didn't even know that there was a movie until I finished binging all of it. Because I just watched it all on Hulu, and then I was like, "Oh, there's a movie? Cool!" But I didn't know.
Teddy hasn't seen Space Jam or the South Park movie.
It's
Teddy,
a lot
you're
of movies I
fired.
haven't seen.
I thought my lack of movie experience was bad. Oh,
It's gonna get worse. There's a lot of movies.
But he has seen the Avatar movie.
what Avatar movie?
Thank you.
The Blue People one.
Oh,
Oh
that's
yeah,
a good
shout out
movie.
to James Cameron.
Honestly, have not seen that movie. And
You're not missing anything.
Apparently, they're making 5 more.
okay
So
What?
That movie is so okay.
That sucks though, because it's like
just okay.
The for the time that it came out, it was very advanced and like beautiful and stuff, but it's already very dated. And if they have 5 more planned out, I can't. It's gonna be rough watching those movies like 15 years after they've come out.
I think that James Cameron just has a ton of money, and studios will give him a ton of money because he's James Cameron, and it's just a passion project at this point. I think he just really likes it himself, so he's like, I'm going all in on this. Why not?
Fuck it.
Go! Good for you, James Cameron.
Risk it for the
I'm
biscuit.
sure I'll watch at least one other of them.
I'm probably
Maybe.
gonna watch it all.
Actually,
of
I'm
them.
not sure, but maybe.
the only reason it did well was because it shot in 3D before anybody else had ever done 3D right.
Well, and the crazy thing is, it's the best 3D movie I've
You
ever
remember
seen.
Spy Kids 3? Dog?
I love that. Like, that worked for me.
Gave you
there was
those
stuff
glasses?
that came out.
Yeah. I remember where you would go to the movie or like go to rent it and they had glasses. Which, thinking back on that, I'm like, how does that work? There weren't 3D TVs. I don't know how to. But there were glasses when you went to go rent it.
Because it was red and green. Like, they used red and
they
green.
did, like-
Red and blue.
Yeah.
Or, yeah, red and blue. Yeah. They used the old
Anyways,
style.
PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds has reached 1 million concurrents on Steam.
Teddy's just pounding through these
So
news
many
items.
people saw that movie in
yeah.
theaters, and now so many people are playing PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds.
A lot of people are playing video games in general lately. There are 1 million people on Steam playing PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, and there are 1.2 people playing Destiny 2.
There was. There's probably more at a certain point. Bungie literally just I think it was Saturday afternoon, just said, hey, there's 1.2 million concurrent players right now. Thanks for playing, guys. They just tweeted that, and I was like, oh, cool. So, I'm sure when Destiny Tracker usually keeps stats of this kind of stuff, but their stats seem to be a little off. Like, I don't know. And it doesn't say if it's for Destiny 1 or if they've updated Destiny 2 yet, so couple of weeks I'll check in there and see, because in Destiny 1 they had like an active amount of people who have logged in. They also kept track of people who've logged in like the last week and stuff like that, so we'll see of the real detailed numbers.
That's interesting that PUBG has obviously been out in early access for quite some time. It's just now hitting that number, probably because it didn't have a big like the game is out now and it's not a sequel. Whereas Destiny 2, right out the gates, hits 1.2.
Yeah.
So.
I feel like when PUBG actually officially gets released, it's not going to be nearly as exciting. That's kind of a thing that early access ruins a little bit.
Yeah.
There's no, waiting period. It's just like, I've basically been in beta since they had beta, essentially, is what early access is. So, kind of takes away some of that sparkle of brand new release.
Yeah.
You'll have all the people who play it when it comes to console who don't have a gaming PC, but I feel like probably by the time it's officially out, it'll start dropping off in terms of the Steam community who've beyond other things, who have already had their fill of PUBG.
Oh yeah, I'm already seeing that happen. Like, the people that are really good at it, they're starting to get bored, so they're like doing weird shit, like dropping into squads by themselves, or like just trying to keep the game interesting because they've run out of content and they've already gotten the thrill of like winning enough times that it's like, all right, what can I do now?
I think PUBG is one of those games that would have benefited from just a full release, but like a full release, but also adding stuff as they go.
Well, yeah, like instead of keeping it in early access forever, release the game and just do patches. Like I like that system.
Fully polished release and then adding more stuff, because that there's a lot of moments where I was playing where I was like, I really just wish like there weren't like I wish the running and the jumping, like it's not there yet, and they know it and they're fixing it and they're working on it, but like I wish that it was fully done.
Yeah, the problem I have with early access too is that they kind of use it as like an excuse a lot of the times. Like, oh, well, this isn't perfect because we're in early access. Like H1Z1 Just Survive has been in early access for literally years, and I think King of the Kill still is too. And like, it's one of those things where it's like, our game's not perfect, but it's not done yet, so what do you want? And it's kind of like, okay,
it's
just
like,
finish your fucking game. Like, finish your game. You're not
at a certain
fooling
point, they're
anybody.
hiding behind wordage.
Exactly.
You've got a worse offender than that, which is Fortnite, which is selling $60 box copies in stores, but they're like, actually, we're in early access right now, so it's not...
And when it finishes, it's going to be free when it fully comes out.
Oh my god.
I've seen that before. Like I think it was Dungeon Defenders 2 was doing that for a while, where I wanted, before I learned that Dungeon Defenders 2 apparently has a really bad free-to-play model, I wanted to buy it, and then I was like, wait, this is going to be free-to-play when it comes out, and they're selling it right now for like $40, $60 like founder packs. I'm like, I'll just wait.
Let me just give you my money, because apparently, like, that too, like, pre-orders and shit kind of pissed me off, because it's like, I'm buying an incomplete game. I'm helping fund this project that you should already have funded if you've started it.
I get sometimes why people do the paid early access, but a lot of the times it's a little much. But I get it sometimes.
If you're planning on releasing it free to play, though, like, I feel like those are the types of things that you should
gotta
just
be a smart consumer there.
Well, yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
I've got no problem with early access if they're selling the game at a cheaper deal, like, you know, Minecraft probably did it right, where they, like, the more content that was in the game, they started raising the price until it finally reached full price. Whereas Fortnite's literally doing the opposite thing, where it gets cheaper if you wait.
Yeah.
The people who get it for free will have a more complete, better game than the people who have paid for it.
Yeah, it's true. It's just the price kind of is there, as in, like, if you want it now, this is like it's kind of, you're paying your way in a year early. You know what I mean? You can get it for free, but you gotta wait a year. You know? That's kind of the other side to it.
You gotta pay to beta test it.
Yeah. But you get to play it.
I guess.
I am.
And I think another with Fortnite, when that actually comes out for real, free to play, everyone who's excited about it, who has wanted to play it, they'll have played it. They'll be done. There'll be no buzz around it. No one's gonna care when it actually comes out.
Wait, so how long has Fortnite been in?
Just started recently.
I think it's been about a month or two.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, real recently.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people
do they have a release date?
For when it's officially coming out?
2018. I think they said spring 2018. I'm not sure. I know it's next year, though.
Well, the example I used was that H1Z1 has been in early access for 2 years and is still not released, and they don't have a release date. That's that game in particular. I love H1Z1. Don't get me wrong, like, that's one of my favorite games to play with friends. Most of my friends are pretty fucking shit, or pretty over it. They're like, no. My friends are okay at it. They're over how shitty the game is, though. And it's been a game that you've had access to for, like, almost 3 years now. Like, January 2015, it became an early access release game, and it's still in there for some reason. It just doesn't make sense. It's dumb. It's not great.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the next few news items Darian has added in, so why don't you tell me about them?
Okay. Well, I just felt like, oh, geez, it's coming, and I haven't added anything. So that's what I did. But I saw that
That's
Blizzard,
what she said.
Tasteful joke.
Thank you.
Blizzard's opening its own esports arena in LA, which is kind of exciting for people in the esports scene. If you watch, pro Overwatch or like StarCraft or League of Legends, obviously League of Legends is not. Yeah, World of Warcraft has a pro scene.
Yeah. I do. I don't know if it's fully like seasons, but they definitely have
Overwatch,
tournaments.
Hearthstone, Heroes of the Storm, and World of Warcraft specifically.
Yeah, I just assume because Blizzard.
Which is kind of exciting because like those are some games that have some pretty large followings, and definitely has really good, like pro events that people will travel for. And now they're gonna have their own arena for it. I think that's kind of exciting. And then also after that. Completely different thing. They're
Great transition.
Yeah. Here's a new thing. Pokemon Nostalgia Fest, I Choose You, is going to hit theaters in November, which is the story of how it's basically like the first few episodes of the first Pokemon series with how Ash and Pikachu bonded and came together, and it's like new and pretty and shiny and stuff, so I'll probably be going to that because I'm a Pokemon fan. So that's exciting.
I will not.
Fair enough.
If I remember, correctly, they
played
replaced Ash and Brock in this version of the story. They have him traveling with some other people.
I imagine, actually,
That sounds a little...
I imagine
heresy.
they might have updated it to the new characters for Sun and Moon.
Like Pokemon Sun and Moon?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, that kind of sucks. Because like everybody loves Ash, right?
Well, yeah, Brock and Misty are like the
still
original.
Be Ash will be there, but
Right.
like who he's traveling with will be.
Oh, okay.
Well, this is just like it's the 20th Pokemon movie. I've probably seen 4 of those things.
I ended up watching
Got some
them
catching
when
up to do.
Pokemon Go became a thing. I was like, oh, I'm feeling very Pokemon-y, so I sat down and watched a few of the movies.
Well, I've seen like Pokemon the movie, Pokemon 2000, which has the legendary birds, Pokemon 3, which has the legendary dogs, and then Pokemon Forever, which has Celebi.
Pokemon Forever.
Yeah, that was the time travel
What a
one.
name.
It was the time travel one. They went back in time and
Makes
ahead in
sense.
time.
Forever.
And Celebi
Yeah.
was the time travel Pokemon.
It just kind of reminds me of Batman Forever.
Well, but
That's
it's
all.
the number 4 ever. It's a pun.
Oh, of course.
Uh-huh.
Another reminder that Splatoon missed their opportunity to put a 2 with the T and the O and the O. Just throwing that out there.
That would have been so cool.
It would have been pretty stupid, but I would have been down with it.
Yeah, those types of puns.
Cheesy great.
So yeah,
Brox and Misty for some unfamiliar faces.
Yeah.
It's Soji, whose partner is Lucario, and Makoto, who buddies up with Piplup. That's kind of all over the fucking place. And then there's some random shadow Pokemon in this promotional image. What the fuck? What is this? They messed up.
They're just adding some new stuff and
Well,
getting you excited for the new games.
So, okay, I understand that, but now the problem I'm having is that the first Pokemon movie was pretty much just the first generation of Pokemon, and then Ho-Oh to let you know, hey, there's gonna be more Pokemon. I don't know. Because
But now everything's
Lucario's
different.
100%, and Piplup is definitely not a Gen 1 Pokemon. I don't know.
They're rewriting your childhood. Everything's different now.
You can't
Dunk
change
Dunk.
my childhood. Misty was my favorite character of all time, and always will be, probably. My favorite was, like, water Pokemon, and I used to play... I used to teach Pokemon school to my friends, and I'd take all of my cards over to their houses and teach them how to pronounce Pokemon, and what the moves were, and how to actually, like, play the trading card game in the way that I believed it to be played, because it was definitely not correct.
That's pretty great.
And my friends would sit and take notes, like, oh, okay, and I made them call me Misty Waters.
Misty Waters.
Wow.
Just a little bit of Darien lore in there for you.
That's great. That's the best. That's the best piece of this podcast so far, boys. Pack it up. We're done.
We're
Hold
done
on,
here.
I want to drop in, speaking of the Pokemon trading card game, so Robert Ebert did it. So Pokemon, the first movie, has 14% on Rotten Tomatoes. The critics.
Roger Ebert?
Yeah, Roger Ebert.
Okay.
So critics did not like the original Pokemon movie. And apparently, Roger Ebert took a step further than most of them. He wanted to figure out what Pokemon was and what made it special. So he apparently went and tried to play the Pokemon card game with like a...
I was about to say, he didn't play video games because he hates video games.
Yeah, so he tried to play with like a 10-year-old and apparently lost all of his cards to them. I don't know
wrecked.
I don't know like what kind of rules they were playing. But
I think he got bamboozled by a 10-year-old.
Yes.
I think that's what happened.
That sounds about right.
That's pretty great.
Be like, "Oh, actually you lost that card. That's mine now." So
That's awesome.
Yeah. Oh, jeez.
and then he watches the movie and I'm like he's like, well, this wasn't anything like the card game, so...
Yeah, so when they lose a battle, they don't lose their
my
Pokemon to
gosh.
the person they lost to?
Oh, man.
Yeah. Wasn't there some new fancy stuff with the League of Legends?
With that in the preseason, they're going to be changing how the currency works. There's no longer going to be influence points. It's all going to change to Blue Essence, which is essentially right now Champion Essence. And they're changing how pre-30 you can buy champions and post-30 how the Blue Essence, like how much you're getting in game and how easy it is to unlock champions before you're level 30. And then after level 30, they're changing that. And then they're taking the level cap off. So who first to 100 wins is probably how that's going to go. That'll be pretty fun. And then they're making runes free. They're changing how runes and masteries work. There's just going to be a whole bunch of new stuff with the new season. And then there's something else that they mentioned as far as like in the video. They were like, it's going to be a whole new game. And I don't think that's accurate because it's never a whole new game. It's always the same shit. But...
Call it like it is.
But there's definitely going to be some new stuff as far as like... and for a limited time, the people have been playing for a long time and already own all the champions like myself and have just buttloads of IP and nothing to spend it on. They're going to have a limited time Blue Essence store when they first make that transition. So the transfer rate is going to be 1 IP to 1 Blue Essence, and then the Blue Essence store is going to open. You're going to be able to unlock like skins, ward skins, icons, some limited edition skins that you can't get anymore, things like that. It'll be pretty exciting for those of us who have nothing to spend IP on anymore.
As someone who I saw this earlier this week, again, as someone who played League forever ago, I was like, they're taking rune prices out? Like, so runes aren't going to cost anything, right? Aren't runes free or something like that? Isn't that what they said?
Right now, runes are 10 IP a piece. But when the new system rolls out, it's going to be runes are completely free. You can get all of the runes.
See, I used to save up all of my IP for like tier 3 runes and all that.
Well, and they're compensating people who do that by basically refunding you all of the runes that you've already bought and rune pages that you bought with IP. They're going to refund you a portion of that, and there's like a really complicated formula for how they're doing that, but it's like if you bought 3 rune pages with IP, you're gonna get like an epic skin or something. Like they're doing some kind of compensation.
If only they could have put this in place 4 years ago, I would have been all about it. I would have been like, yeah, I don't have to save up anymore. I can buy champions, but too late.
Teddy will just drop Destiny 2 and go back to League of Legends.
I think I'll pass on that one.
Yeah, no, join me in the hellhole. It'll be great.
I think I might have to pass on that one. Every now and then, like, I think it was like last summer, I got the itch to play something really competitive again, and I went back and I played League of Legends for like 2 weeks, and I was like, I remember why I don't play this anymore. I get it, and I'm good. So, but it's still a fun game.
Okay, well that is all the news we have for this bi-weekly thing. Time for the main topic of the show. Microtransactions in paid video games, i.e. games that you're already buying, but they also want you to spend money in addition to the base price of the game.
The two most recent ones being two most recent ones in like the conversation being Destiny 2 and Shadow of War.
Yeah. So I'll let Teddy speak about Destiny 2 and how that works.
Okay. So here, we'll get into how it works with specifically the microtransactions that affect quote-unquote pay-to-win, right? But then I just want to quickly touch on the shader system and what needs to change. Luke Smith, hear me out, please. So the microtransaction stuff, you can get... So when you reach level 20, anytime you ding a level again, you get a bright engram from Tess Everest. And the bright engrams give you cosmetic stuff, mostly. Ships, shaders, sparrows, emotes, stuff like that. But you can also get blue, which are rare level mods, which affect gameplay. And you can also get armor, but the armor drops at an incredibly low light, so that doesn't affect anything. You can just infuse it up. But the other thing is that you can, right now with the promotions they're doing, if you get Rockstar drinks, you get engrams. So, Bryce, are they legendary engrams? Because I haven't done it yet.
I believe they're, I've gotten a few of them. So you put in the codes on the Rockstar website, and then you go to Bungie, and then you select the system that you want them on. I'm only playing on PlayStation, so I put it there. Then they show up in your mailbox, and I believe they've only been blue. What I looked at, I read that their max the max power level they've seen is 265. So that's
for the Rockstar drinks.
Yeah, from the Rockstar games.
Okay, yeah. Then they're just blues. Okay, well that's not near as bad as legendaries. If they were giving out legendaries, that'd be ridiculous. But blues are still it's still affecting gameplay if you get blue engrams from buying Rockstar drinks. But and then you can get double XP from Pop-Tart boxes, which is interesting.
I've also done this one sort of. So the way this works, you go buy Pop-Tarts at I guess any Pop-Tarts. Target has a specific Sparrow that you can get if you buy it from Target.
Which I need to go to Target.
But the way that they have this done is, instead of there being codes in the boxes, you buy Pop-Tarts, then you take a picture of your receipt and showing that you bought the Pop-Tarts, then you text message that to a phone number with a little code, and then in 48 to 72 hours, Kellogg's will send you the code for your in-game content, except I did that more than 72 hours ago, and I have not gotten a code back.
That's dumb.
Yeah, so Rockstar their system works great. There's a limit. You can only put in 3 codes a week. You're also entering to win copies of Destiny 2, PS4, and also a motorcycle.
Okay.
But
so here's the thing on the Destiny 2 microtransactions. Most people aren't concerned with the pay-to-win stuff. If anybody is, which I relatively am, I am I'm entirely, my philosophy with this kind of stuff is don't sell stuff in for real money that affects gameplay. Like mods and armor are stepping on the line. They're not crossing the line yet because they're blue mods and the blue engrams, so it's like you're not going to need that in like a week. But they're not fully crossing the line yet. If they started being like, buy legendary engrams in the store, then I'd be very upset. But right now I'm just like, don't go any further. Please stop. When it comes to the pay-to-win type of stuff. But that's not what most people are mad about these days. In Destiny 1, The shader system worked as you got shaders from activities and whatnot, and you would throw on a shader, and it would change. So say you have a green shader, it would change the color of all your gear, other than your weapons. It would change your armor to be like that specific shade of green, and it would be all of it. And you could take it off and add new ones and all that. In Destiny 2, they completely changed how the shader system works. So the positives of it is that you can apply it to pretty much any type of gear. You can put it on your helmet, like specific pieces of gear. You can put it on your ship, your shader, your weapons. Like, all of this is new. Like, shaders on weapons is awesome. That's so cool. But you can get shaders from the bright engrams, and the shaders are consumables. So say I collect 8 or however much to put on all my guns, all my armor, my ship, all that, which is a good amount of shaders to collect. I put it all on, and then I just want to switch out shaders just because in Destiny 1, I used to change my shader like 2 or 3 times a day just because I liked how the different stuff looked, and it's just cosmetic. You don't want to do that, because if you change your shader, it's gone. If you replace your shader, it takes it. It's consumable. So that's the main thing that I think really needs to change. Honestly, I like that shaders are individual, that you get more and you have to apply it and whatnot. But please, stop. Don't let them be consumable. Luke Smith, I know. Pretty much Luke Smith put out, I won't grab the tweets because I remember the tweets pretty much. But he put out a thing addressing, because pretty much the second day of the game being out, the top post on the subreddit with 33,000 upvotes was, don't buy anything on the store. Don't buy any of the engrams yet because they are consumables. Like, don't support this. 33,000 upvotes. Next highest post with 16,000 upvotes. Same topic. And then 3 more posts on the front page were all about this. Like, everyone was like, don't buy shaders. Stop. And I was like, yes, please. Don't buy shaders. And Luke Smith pretty much put out on Twitter saying, our goal is that right now, I mean, you're a day into the game, you're not going to have that many shaders, but the more you play, you're going to be overflowing with shaders because you get them from pretty much anything you do. And that is, so far, pretty much true. And if that continues to be true, cool, I'm fine with the system, other than the fact that they're consumable. They still, like, I will never have enough to be completely happy, like, because if they're consumable, I'm not ever going to put on a shader. I'm going to put on one set of shaders, and I'm going to stop. I'm going to be like, no, I'm not replacing this. This is it. I don't want to lose mine. Yeah, so I really, really, really hope they change that, please.
It suffers from the same thing that happens in JR, like every RPG, is you save all of your equipment for the big boss battle, and then you beat the game and you never use the equipment. And with this, it's going to be, I'm going to save my shaders for the equipment that I really want, but I'm constantly getting equipment, I'll never use them because who knows what
I have a ton of shaders. I haven't put them on anything. I haven't applied a single shader.
I put it on my...
Darian has a question? Yes, down in the front.
Okay, so just to be clear, shaders is like cosmetic only, right?
Right.
Yeah, it pretty much changes the color of your gear.
Right, so I guess the only thing that I would want, to change with that is like the ones you can like drop from your raids and stuff, the ones that you can just get randomly by chance, those can be consumable, but they should change the purchasable ones to not be consumable. I feel like that would be a pretty even trade.
Well, okay.
Or at least a good solution.
I want them not to be consumable for the stuff that you can buy as well because of the microtransactions, but I also mainly just don't want them to be consumable because I think it's a bad system.
Yeah.
Like, it's not fun to min-max your shaders. Like, those are what's supposed to be fun. Like, the shaders are supposed to be hey, I just want to be in blue armor today. And they're, like, kind of taking that out.
Oh, we're all going to match our colors today. Oh, wait, he consumed all the stuff. Everything. Yeah. And I think another bad, like... they're almost working in reverse. Like, it's gotten worse from Destiny 1. Everything else has gotten better since Destiny 1, except for shaders.
I will say this, yeah, it was awesome. Me and my friends were pretty happy, though, on the second day when the whole shader thing started popping up, and I was like, guys, you gotta know they made a good game when when the main thing everybody's complaining about is the shader system. Like, everything else, everybody's like, yep, this is great, we're having a good time. But shader system, that's the one thing. I'm like, it's a good sign, honestly.
But it's hard. It's hard to justify something you already got right and then making it worse. Because if this was their first game, this is them doing okay, whatever. But this is them taking a step back from something they already had.
It's just they've already set a precedent. It's we knew what shaders were supposed to be, and now they're not, and they're worse.
But another game that has microtransactions and is a paid game that is paying to win is Shadow of War. Now, with Shadow of War, they are selling different chests that will get you loot chests, will get you gear with varying variety and XP boosts. And then you can get war chests, which will give you orc followers, which you can get, and they'll fight for you in certain situations. And they also contain training orders to level up and customize your orc followers. And then you can get bundles with all of those things.
See, this is quote unquote pay to win, but it's a single player game.
Yeah, well,
my thing with this is that unless they are changing unless they're like padding out content so that you feel like you either have to grind a ton or buy the XP or orcs, then I have no problem with it because I'm not being forced to buy this. I can just play the game like normal. But for people who want to go faster, who don't want to spend as much time and want to get through the game still, that's there. But the multiplayer aspect, there is a leaderboard. That's the one thing. There's like a leaderboard. I'm not sure if it's between friends or if it's global. There's a leaderboard with like your orc army and how well they did that week or something along those lines. And that's where it gets like a little much, where it's like you could buy your way to the top of that leaderboard.
See, it being in single player is what makes it so weird. It's like,
it's definitely weird.
Yeah,
I'll say that.
I mean, I get what they're trying to take the Overwatch like loot crates, because that's another thing about this is not you're buying specific stuff. You are subject to RNG. You could get a bad stuff for something you bought.
I think it's safe to say that or not safe to say, I think it's a good thing to point out that the bright engrams in Destiny 2, where you get shaders and chips and all that, is also a loot box.
Yeah.
Like, that's exactly the same system. You can't go and buy the exact shaders you want and how many.
Yeah.
You have to buy the bright engrams.
To be fair, also in the store, they have the engrams, but also they have specific things, and they come and go. So if you wanted something specific, you could just wait for it to enter the store and pick it out specifically.
Interesting.
You haven't seen in the Eververse that
I must have missed that.
They have the engrams, and then lower you can go like, oh, here's this ship.
I want
that specific ship, or I want.
Yeah, I saw that. I just didn't pay attention.
Yeah, okay. So if you wait, you can just pick out the specific thing you want, or you could take your chance with the engram basically loot boxes. But so with like Overwatch, and with Destiny, you're earning these by playing. With Overwatch, you can win or earn loot boxes by playing, but those are cosmetic stuff and in no way affects your gameplay. But Shadow of War, this is not cosmetic. Like, you're not getting different outfits for your character. This is actual equipment and orcs and the actual game. You could spend a lot of money and just be done.
Yeah. See, we've seen that before. It's not like this is new. We've seen this before in single-player games. Assassin's Creed Unity had a very similar system, where you could just buy stuff to up your level, up your XP almost instantaneously, and it just helped people get through the game faster. You didn't want to grind as much. And in the case of Unity, I don't think they had any sort of padding or anything to like account for that. It just helped you get through it faster. If there was no multiplayer component, I'm okay with this. I don't love it, but I'm okay with it as long as it doesn't affect me. I mean, I'm not buying it. If it doesn't affect me at all, I'm okay. Like, whatever.
Yeah, we'll have to see how the difficulty affects everything, but I'm not happy with the precedent it sets. If paying for single player content in a game you've already bought becomes successful, we're going to see more of it, and then people will pad their games to get people to buy stuff. And I don't want to see that for a game I bought. If I didn't buy the game, I don't care. I can grind all day. I didn't actually give you money.
It definitely sets a bad precedent, but like for most of the time, I'm okay.
So that was the main topic. We only had the one question this week, which we addressed. But if you want to be part of the show, go to lastgeek.com/RSG to submit a question, comment, or a good recipe for us to read on the show.
Last Geek RSG doesn't work. Just go to
Ready Set Gamecast?
Yeah, ReadySetGamecast.com. Because I had posted it to Facebook with that link and it didn't work.
Yeah,
so
it's a broken URL.
Yeah.
RIP.
Lastgeek.com/RSG. I literally just put it in.
It doesn't work. I just did a page not found.
Lastgeek.com/RSG.
Is it the Last Geek?
No, it's our lastgeek.com/RSG.
Yeah, that doesn't
Page not
work for
found.
anybody else.
Weird.
RIP. Yeah, that is weird.
Because I've been posting it.
It just worked in the chat when I clicked the URL.
So it's, with the second... What the fuck?
Is it with the second slash?
No, because he just
both
posted
of
it
them
again
work.
and it works. Maybe caps matters, which is weird.
Maybe if you have HTTP.
No.
Capitalization matters.
Yeah.
Okay, I can get that fixed. I can remove it so it's...
Well, cool.
Okay, fix that.
Working,
so
fixing
you can go to
things here in the show notes.
ReadySetGamecast.com.
Yeah, so lastgeek.com/RSG. It'll work by the time this is live.
Yeah.
But also, just you could find it with ReadySetGamecast.com. Same thing, which is going to be a little bit easier to find with our podcast.
I might end up changing where that points to. So I want to direct people to lastgeek/RSG for now.
Well, if you change what that redirects to, you could just change it to ReadySetGamecast.com/submit or something like that.
Yeah, I suppose. Okay. So yeah, if you want a question, go to one of those many websites, or just Google around. You might find it.
Just Google
Or
llamas.
just add us. Just add us on
Google
Twitter.
llamas as well. You might not find the podcast that you're looking for, but you'll find a bunch of cool pictures of llamas. And they're terrible animals, actually. Don't look
Or
up
alpacas. Look up alpacas.
Alpacas
They're
are where
much
the money's
fluffier.
at.
Yeah.
That's a Sweet Life of Zach and Cody reference.
What?
Oh, no. What? Alpacas?
There's a whole episode where they keep joking around that I think Cody's gonna move away and go start a llama farm, and every time Zach's like, "Alpacas are where the money's at, man."
Where the money's at.
Just saying. I'm telling you, it's a thing. You don't trust my Sweet Life of Zach and Cody knowledge?
Well, it just doesn't.
Yeah, for now.
Zach and Cody. I spelled Zach and Cody wrong, please.
All right.
Okay, Teddy, where can people find you?
You can find me at twitch.tv/Teddy Chinaris, Mondays through Thursdays, 7 to 11 p.m. Central Time, and Friday and Saturday at 10 to 12. Playing Destiny 2 for a long time. for a while. That's what it's going to be. Maybe one day I'll take a break, play some everybody's golf. You can follow me on twitter.com/Teddy Chinaris. For quality content, such as every time I reached 69 power level in Destiny, I posted a picture of it and said, heh, H-E-H. Heh, the sequel and the trilogy. 69, 169, 269. Also, if you ever hit me up, if you want to talk about Percy Jackson the Lightning Thief.
Darian, where can people find you?
You can find me at twitch.tv/dexterity or twitter.com. My handle is at dexterity. Or
How do you
Facebook.
spell that?
You spell it DEXTERIDE. And what about you?
Yep.
Where can we find you, Bryce?
On Twitch, Last Geek Plays. On Twitter, Last Geek or Last Geek Plays, though I don't really use that very much. You can go to lastgeek.com for the links to this podcast, as well as links to my other projects. And YouTube. Hopefully this video will be on there. It might not. We had some technical issues. We'll see how it goes. And if you enjoy the podcast, you should follow it on Twitter at RSG Gamecast. RS Gamecast. Or just Google or type Ready Set Gamecast in the Twitter bar and you'll probably find it. Also, if you like the show, please subscribe, rate, and review it on iTunes and Stitcher. We're on a bunch of different services, but that is the only two that offers rating and reviewing. It helps us grow and become more powerful.
Or if you're listening to us in the car, you can just roll down your window and shout out, "Hey, Ready Set Gamecast is great!" I'm sure somebody will hear it.
Yeah, please tell your friends. Tell them to listen, and then that also helps us become cool. Speaking of people who have said good things about us, I would like to give a shout out to my man Scribble. He is a Twitch streamer, and he enjoys the podcast. Also, Matt A. Plays, my boy, also a Twitch streamer. He also likes the podcast. And Bryant Chappell. I hope I said his last name right. I have no idea. He enjoys the podcast and has told the people about his love of this great content.
Let's not go too far.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves here.
Okay, this has been episode 1 of Ready Set Gamecast. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you again in 2 weeks.
Read Percy Jackson.